Jesus Christ is probably the most famous documented rebel and revolutionary. He said, I don't care what you guys are saying in the temples. I don't care what the guys are saying out there. I'm going to go and spread love and peace, and I'm going to do cool stuff. And he got killed for doing cool stuff, and he's inspired everyone else. And we saw Tupac get killed, Malcolm X get killed, Steve Biko, Solomon Mahlangu, Marcus Garvey. And we're like, okay, so this is the disease. It's a bad disease. Because on the other side, it's like, no, just sell out. Just make money, keep the knowledge to yourself, and be rich alone.
This is the Hustler's Corner.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Hustler's Corner. Big homie Sbuda here. Guys, I told you this year, I'm putting in a lot of content. So first thing we're going to do, straight up to that shop sign on the, I think it's your left bottom corner of the screen. On the count of 1, 2, 3, click, 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 click. Thank you. And then go to your right bottom corner of the screen. And then just click that subscribe button. Don't forget to switch on the notification bell. I'm putting in a lot of content this year, guys. I can't believe this podcast has been around for, I think we started in towards end of 2018, 2019. So I think it's 2018. We've been around for quite some time, but because I've been lazy, I'll record one episode in 2 months. I'll put out one episode in 3 months or one episode a month. And that's just come to an end because I'm glad that now the culture has moved on to the internet. So a lot of people in Tlalening Tetis, all you hustlers out there who are subscribers, Buddha, we need daily content actually, not even just once a week. We need daily. I'm working on putting together daily content for you. We've put together the Massive Metro Studios. The guys are working there. We've put together the Homegrown. The guys are working there. I need to now go put together the Hustlers Corner Studios, where there's just going to be content creation on a daily basis. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm quite excited because the brother that I'm sitting with here, we literally just met for the first time. And that's the world we're living in. Social media, the internet, digital media introduces us to all sorts of different content that is pushed out by all sorts of different people from all over the world. And there's just a certain type of content you'll gravitate towards. Some of it will speak to you. Some of it will make you want to follow those people and find out more who they are. And that's what happened to me when I bumped into his content. And I just started following him on all the different social media platforms. And the more he posts, the more he shares his mindset, the more he shares his philosophies, his ideologies. And I just kind of felt he needed to be here. And he needs to be known by as many people out there as possible. His voice needs to grow bigger, and other people who will see him from here will invite him to other platforms. That's what it's needed, because his brand needs to grow. His voice has to be louder, because I really do think he's got a thing or two that has literally captured my heart, and that has made me identify him as my tribe, identify him as one of those black brothers voices that we need, especially in our country, Mzansi. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to God Penuel, is what I call it. I'm blessed and highly favored.
I'm extremely, extremely humbled and honored to be in your presence. I don't think you understand. I think you have an idea, because people scream your name at places, but I don't think you understand. We speak about Tupac a lot. You, a guy like Uzola, you guys are our versions of what Tupac. I see Uzex Bantwini is on the rise as well as the mind.
Yeah.
You guys, there are kids in Makasi somewhere sitting in a dark shack somewhere saying, one day I want to be like Usbuda. The guy got on radio and he didn't have a radio voice. So I say, I'm going to push whatever it takes. Pandan Machida, push him more fire. I used to listen to you when I was doing honors in accounting.
Are you serious?
Every single day, the DJ SBU breakfast show on YFM.
Was the YFM days?
Absolutely amazing. So I don't think you understand the power that you have as a human being. I remember speaking to a gentleman once speaking about Rick Ross.
Yeah.
And saying people like Rick Ross understand the power of music. I know you understand the power of music, especially with your background with TS, but I don't think you understand the power of your brand and how revolutionary it has been to some of the weirdest people. Not just in Intwana Zasekas. There are suburban private school, coconut, even white kids that are actually like, oh my gosh, that DJ SBU guy is pretty cool. He's pushing, he's creating content, he empowers people. So I'm very honored to be here. And as you said, I hope I'm going to be joining your tribe and we can find more lions like us, especially across the world, and change the world for the better. But ngiyabonga kakhulu for the invite, and I'm blessed to be here.
No, I'm humbled.
Sure.
Yeah, it's always, I always say, so I'm a radio person. I'm sure when you heard your own voice for the first time, you're like, it was a little bit uncomfortable, or you feel a bit weird. And,
sure.
And I'm sure you guys out there, when you hear your own voice, you're like, or a voice note with your voice. So when you hear about, just living life and doing the work, when you hear other people, tell you about you, you sort of feel a little bit not uncomfortable, but it's like it's some sort of a reminder. Who is Penuel? Who's God Penuel?
Sure. So I'm from Newcastle in KZN, born and bred there, matriculated there. I was an A student, good black, coconut, abo first blackhead boy.
Yeah.
From there I went to Rhodes University in Grahamstown. It's called Makanda now.
Oh, before moving to Rhodes, I just want to find out Newcastle, ne? Newcastle. Did you go to a private school, multiracial school, or iskolo sasekas?
Sure. So I think like most people, I was born into Ekas, Ematadeni. My father had taken my mom. He was from Mpopomen in Howick. My mom was from Ekvugeni in Washbank in KZN. They moved to Matadeni because he got a job there as a building inspector. And then I think when I was about 5, my old lady was a teacher. We can now live amongst the whites. So I went to town. My mom was mostly a single mother from a financial perspective because my father was present here and there. But financially, my mom carried myself and my 2 siblings, my brother and my sister. I've been at Model C schools generally my whole life. I started at colored school because we weren't allowed as Otaki to study with Tongamla. And then as soon as we were allowed to study with white kids in grade 3, which was standard 1 at the time, we started studying with white kids. And then I was at a Model C school, never went to private school. Unfortunately or fortunately, I never studied Ekasi. I remember asking my mom why I never studied Ekasi because I believe in giving back. And if we're constantly moving the best minds to white schools and then moving the best minds to big cities and moving the best minds to New York, they never come back to plow back. So I've criticized her, but I think we have an opportunity even now to still go back because we still have a chance to go back and give back and say, look, my mom taught here, I didn't study here, but I'd just like to give back to the school that gave her the money and the means to take us to better platforms. So that was Newcastle Senior Primary, Newcastle High School in KZN, and then I matriculated there.
Yo, that is so dope. And then before we moving to Rhodes, what I'm going to do is, I know that this platform exists on YouTube and Spotify and all the other Buzzsprout platforms that we distribute it to. But I would like, maybe as the interview goes, you have a small stand, and shout outs to my team, a small stand where we broadcast live this interview. Because on Facebook, I literally usually post a link, transfer people to YouTube. Abanye bese bangithethisa sibuda abanye bethu asina data.
YouTube.
If ukhona please sicela ukuthi ustream ama interviews, even if akusiyo yonke interview, but ukuthi sikeleze brasbu. So maybe if you can just get a stand, and then maybe let me do this quickly, guys. Sorry for everybody else that can afford data or that is on Wi-Fi. I have to think of Indwana Zetu that can't afford.
Inclusivity.
Yeah, and give them an opportunity to stream on YouTube. And this is the first time, it's the first interview I'm actually streaming on Facebook. Why? Because I really do think Ugutu Penuel has got a thing or two that might spark you to change your life somehow, or that might just spark you to go do some research somehow and find out some things here and there. Okay, let me do this. Let me say the Hustlers Corner SA. Yeah. I'm just doing it quickly. Just be patient with me. You can fast forward there if you're not watching live. So, okay, the Hustlers Corner interview with, what is your Facebook? I'm tagging you.
Penuel the Black Pen.
Penuel space the
Penuel the
Black
Pen, yeah.
Pen.
I think that's my page. I hope it comes up.
Penuel, yeah, here it is. Yo, 78,000 followers.
Hayibo.
Do you know, I've actually never been to your Facebook. I literally
78,000 is small. Got us bonga go 78,000. But one day ngizofika go millions.
Yo, no,
78,000 followers on my page.
I interact with you on Twitter.
Sure.
On, I think, Insta.
Sure.
Also on, I don't know if it's TikTok, but it's Twitter and one of those. Yeah. But anyway,
sure.
Let's go to, okay. Itangse tuntanga. Okay, sure. Nice. Sure.
The people behind the scenes that create all the magic.
Yeah.
Tina, we're just amatulus in front that are shining.
Yeah.
But the real work.
Intwana zam sesicole industry. And ngikhumbula nasiqala iMassive Metro ngangizitshela le ntwana ngithi gents the industry is literally evolving so quick. You're
Yes.
not even aware that what you're going to be learning here at Massive Metro.
Sure.
And this was 2016. Just
Sure.
up the road here, we're still with, we used to just have the DJ SBU breakfast standing on its own and on a partnership with Times Media.
Sure.
We're live on Vuma FM, we're live on Rise FM in Mpumalanga.
Sure.
We just had multiple platforms, including Soweto TV,
Sure,
blah, blah,
sure.
blah. Anyway, to cut the long story short, I was saying to Lane Zamiti, gents, the world is changing so fast that
Yes.
what you're going to be learning at Massive Metro, if you work here for a minimum, a year, even a year is long, a minimum 6 months.
Sure.
What you're going to earn or get here, the value of the capital that you're going to get from here
Sure.
is going to put you in levels where degrees 20 years ago or 30
Sure.
years ago
Sure.
put our parents in.
Sure.
And I sounded like not even kulmi nonsense.
Sure.
Now in Zami, most on all these platforms, whether it's Super Sport, whether it's SABC,
Sure, sure.
Power FM, 702, YFM, Metro FM, Kaya FM, behind the scenes, abantu producer, recording content, on air people, I'm a news reader. It's literally kids we were training just now a few years ago, and it just shows you where this whole digital internet thing is going. This is only the beginning, bro.
I can only imagine. No, entertainment, putting lights on, and then they get picked by bigger what's. I wanted to say one thing before we carry on. Attention capital, which I'd like to think you know. For a lot of people, I think a lot of people don't really know the depth of who you are. They see the music, they know the books, they know the speaking. I guess maybe unlike me, because I'm still on the rise, they don't understand the brain for now. They don't respect the brain so much. Attention capital is essentially where everything is going. How can we capture people's attention in the easiest, best? And I think that's why you went on Facebook Live. Because you're like, whatever it takes, instead of watching garbage here on the left, on the right, focus here, because this is where we're going to grow your minds. And once we do, find us, work with us, and people like DJ SBU can put you on and you can become something of a myth, I guess, as time goes on. I saw Birdman talking about Kanye West, that Kanye West stayed with him at some point before he blew up. You just never know what will happen when you begin putting yourself out there and creating the relationships and moving. So I just wanted to speak about attention capital. Puff Daddy speaks about it since we were speaking about content.
Yeah.
And he was making content before social media became cool.
Been making content.
Yeah, before social media. I think Tapelo Mukwe, and I was shooting, I've done a bit of TV work. I don't know if we're going to touch on that.
Sibuda ngicela cafe latte ne namanzi. Ngicela ubuze uput Penuel ukuthi ufunani.
Ngicela nje amanzi mfethu.
Awufuni ikawula.
Sipushe health.
Ugrand.
No, we can eat afterwards.
Oh, we'll eat after. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, sorry, I just don't.
Sure. Utapelo Mokwena, we were shooting Broken Vows, which was on ETV. And he was speaking about, P. Diddy had released, there was a documentary a couple of years ago. P. Diddy was making content before content became cool. Gary Vaynerchuk, another great guy on YouTube, was making content before content became cool. And the sooner we understand content and the fact that in future, when people look back for files and history, and it's going to be this. It's literally, this is going to be what has become the Bible or Gospels, according to Matthew and Paul. This is going to be it. The Gospel according to SBU, Hustler's Corner. It's going to be this.
So, when I started More Fire,
Sure.
social media wasn't as big as it is now in South Africa.
Sure.
But I knew.
It was coming.
I knew that it'll get here. And I knew I'd lost an amazing platform that I've always dreamed of eventually getting to,
Sure.
which I did. God has been great, and shout outs to the SABC. And I'm still friends with the SABC. I'm always there.
Sure.
Sure. They say don't burn your bridges. That's why I
100%.
can always walk in at YFM whenever I like.
Sure.
Can always walk in at the SABC whenever I like.
Sure.
But anyway, to cut the long story short, when I lost that platform, if it was at any other time,
Sure.
some of the people who were saying negative stuff, it would have manifested to become truth. Who were saying,
Yeah.
"Pelile ngai."
Sure.
But I knew, Uguti, I've got this.
Sure.
And the world is changing.
Sure.
There's Instagram just bought WhatsApp. Facebook just bought
WhatsApp.
Instagram.
Sure.
Facebook just bought WhatsApp. It was those days
Sure.
when they were still new.
Sure.
I think even on Twitter, I only still had 100,000 or 200,000 followers.
Just 100,000.
And it was hacked. And I lost that
Sure.
page. I had to start from scratch on Twitter.
Sure.
To my Twitter page should be very, very, very even bigger. But anyway,
Sure.
I knew, Guti, for me to grow this, I have to use this.
Sure.
And I knew, because of our history, and we come from Mzansi. By the way, this is not my interview. This is interview. But let me quickly say this. I've always heard of Martin Luther King. I've always heard of Solomon Mahlangu. I've always heard of Abu Lumumba. I've always heard of our great leaders. I've always heard of some great things in the past or some people or leaders that I would have loved to have been exposed to. I would have been honored to have sat down with them and asked them certain questions. So I was like, where the world is going, I need to film and record each and everything I'm doing. Because in the future, there will not be mabare or even if history or gets twisted, my videos will be all over the internet. So that's why I didn't even want to shoot any fancy videos. I made sure I grow this on social media. This is probably now becoming if not already, we've not done any evaluation, 100 million rands brand. And this is still beginning days, early stages, out of just only this. So it's exactly what you're saying. But just to summarize, those people who are on Facebook, I know we've just tuned you in now. His name is God Penuel. You can follow him on the link over there. He was just telling us that he's from Newcastle and and then he was just telling us about him starting his journey at Rhodes University. That's where he was. Let's continue.
I struggle with, I think Kanye West has the same thing. Comparing myself to Kanye.
You have to, bro. You are God. You're comparing yourself to God because you are a God. A small letter G, you know what I mean?
I struggle with having multiple thoughts at the same time because I know we have to speak about Rhodes. I know. As you're speaking, there are so many things I want to touch on in everything you're saying.
Go right ahead, bro. Go right ahead.
But obviously, in the interest of time and
No, there's no time. That's why there's podcast. Go ahead. Go crazy, bro.
I need to do my intro, though.
Yeah,
right?
Go right ahead.
Anyways.
Go ahead.
Because listen to Kulmangazu, they blow my mind and I... Fuck. Am I allowed to swear?
It's okay.
So, Peter Thiel was part of PayPal Mafia. There's a PayPal Mafia with Peter Thiel, Reid Hoffman, who started LinkedIn, Elon Musk, that everyone knows now with Tesla and SpaceX. He's written a book called 0 to 1, amazing book, and he does a speech where he explains that for guys who want to become the next Bill Gates and the next Mark Zuckerberg, you can't copy what these guys are doing. You have to find the thing that no one has found yet. So I wanted to touch on what you're saying about More Fire, that you needed to be the pioneer. And a lot of kids don't understand what that really means. Who is the guy that's going to do the thing that no one knows about yet, but that is actually coming? Whether you've traveled the world and you've seen that, we need speed trains, we need trams, people have now moved into this diet. Whoever brought Italian pizza and pasta and Japanese sushi here, who foresaw that I need to bring this thing here because people don't know? I know. Because that's what prophecy is. What informs that SBU knows that Penuel is going to be something great? What informs that Lil Wayne can see that Drake and Nicki Minaj are going to be phenomenal in future? That there's a girl somewhere in the Eastern Cape who sings with a guitar and she's gonna blow the music industry and be known as Uzahara forever. What is it in you? Going on a tangent. So I went to Rhodes. First, I did my BCom.
I always say it's all over.
So yeah, I was going to speak a lot about... anyways.
Go right ahead, bro.
So I did my BCom in accounting and economics at Rhodes University in Grahamstown in Makanda. Great space. I was with a great lady there who was a visual artist. Her dad was a professional visual artist. And at some point, I thought I was going to be an artist myself.
Yeah.
I've sold over 50 artworks, by the way. Some people don't know that I actually have a skill of drawing and painting.
Wow, okay.
Again, Kanye West. Kanye is an artist. He used to go to a school for the gifted. Adolf Hitler is an amazing painter. A lot of people don't know that as well. But Kanye says he moved into music because you couldn't turn the art loud enough, which is what people kind of need. After I did Rhodes, I came to the University of Johannesburg to do my honors in accounting. I was signed with a great auditing firm that used to be around here. Now it's moved to Sandton. And then after that, I decided to go my own way. You know, I knew I was never meant to be a corporate guy. Spent about 3 years in banking, working for 2 of the biggest banks in the country. But I always had a bug that I wanted to create something else. I'd made the mistake, like a lot of people.
Just stop, there you go.
No, man's. I'd made a mistake like a lot of people of reading Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
I remember a couple of years ago he was speaking. I don't know if it was at the Sandton Convention
It was
Center,
one of our events, yeah.
but you were there as well speaking.
We're working with Success Resources, and I've had
Sure.
a chance to meet him a couple of times and interview him a couple of times and attend a lot of his talks a couple of times.
Sure.
That was the equivalent of me having read Rich Dad Poor Dad 10 times over.
Yeah.
Because I only then I went to go read the book.
Sure.
Yeah, and then I was blown away. But what my experiences of meeting him and just my experiences of him seeing him speak, inspire,
Sure.
train people, because I've seen him multiple times
Sure.
and met him and had conversations with the brother. He changed my life, but then I compared it to me just reading his book.
Yeah.
I knew that he had written a book that is going to be relevant forever.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you read that book.
I made the mistake in 2006 of reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. A lot of people don't understand the power of Rich Dad Poor Dad. So Rich Dad Poor Dad is a personal finance book, but it's not. It's a book that changes your perspective on how you look at things. The topic is money in the book, but the way Kiyosaki speaks, because in his later books he speaks about spirituality, he speaks about politics, speaks about the tax system, speaks about propaganda. So I made the mistake of reading that book, and in reading that book, he speaks about the McDonald's franchise system. I come from a Newcastle where, I don't know if you've heard of it, but we have a fish and chip shop called Portos, which makes the greatest chips in the whole world, slab chips. And I wanted to take that and replicate it. Fast forward a few years, in 2012, I opened my first fish and chip shop in Gandhi Square. It was called Penuel's Fish and Chips. From there, I went into removals, small trucking. I went into meter taxis. Uber came in, I moved them to KZN, where they called them Apela. Ekasi. So a friend of mine was running them there. I went into loans. Mashonisa.
Amapela, shout outs to Davidson. Not Amapela, real Pela. You guys know what Amapela
Yeah, no, in the
is,
East,
right?
in the East Rand. In the East Rand, the Mapela are the one.
Kaslam, sure.
Went into Ukshonisa, which is a very good kick-off business for a lot of entrepreneurs.
Boka Abantinyu.
I
Beba
got burnt a lot. I got burnt. 2016, my business crashed.
I
And-
recorded a video this morning on TikTok
Sure.
saying 7 out of 10 times about now
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Again, because my mind moves fast. Capitec was founded by Rian Starson and Yanni Mouton of PSG. PSG is an investment company that's invested in Curo, Capitec, Pioneer Foods, and a couple of other great businesses. When you read the book here, Yanni Mouton, and then they fired me, because they fired him, and then he went and he started PSG, which became a huge business. Christo Visa of ShopRite and Pep is invested there. Johan Rupert is invested there, amongst other people. He wrote his book, and in his book he mentions that they were inspired by Mohammed Yunus Grameen Bank. Mohammed Yunus has won a Nobel Prize for trying to eradicate poverty through microloans. In Bangladesh, he went around finding what we call stockfells today and giving all mama that make beadwork, make clothing, sell secondhand, the same stuff we have, amakota, what. And it's I guess this is what government was trying to do with co-ops. Hlanganani bama group, and then tina sonigezo ma 10,000. I think Richard Branson tried to do it with Virgin. I know Clover, Afgri, even Volkskas, which became ABSA, they all started off as co-ops. I think Old Mutual as well. Hlanganani be a group of 10 will give you 10,000 each, and as you guys pay the interest, we'll keep giving you more money. And if you read the Grameen Bank, they're worth billions of dollars now. It was literally that. So I was inspired by that, and I wanted to be the guy who does something similar in South Africa. I know we've spoken with guys like the guys that have started the People's Fund, which also invests in small black businesses. I think Ntutuko shares at Livestock Wealth, where people get to invest in livestock through an exchange. Those are some of the things we were trying to do, or that's what I was trying to do. But my business crashed because we believe in the good of people. And unfortunately, people can let you down for a whole host of reasons. The way the system is set up is kind of biased. I had to kind of rebuild myself, and I think in the last 2-3 years, I figured out what you guys call a calling and your destiny. That, like you, like Robert Kiyosaki, guys like Steve Biko, I guess even a guy like Tupac, guys that tell story. I see the Zuma family is doing amazing work now with Tumahlomo, the wife, etc., etc. Some of us have got this disease of having to educate and teach outside of a classroom using all the platforms that we can find. Because we know the power that we've gotten from the names that you mentioned, that if someone hadn't written about this guy in history, if someone didn't record Martin Luther King saying, I have a dream someone never recorded Nelson Mandela in the Diba dance, if we never had the internet and got to see the world and the plethora of knowledge that it has, we wouldn't be who we are. So this is our way of giving back, that we also want to educate, because again, Tupac says, I may not spark the world, but I know that, no, I may not change the world, but I know that I may spark the brain that changes the world. Because the world can always be better. And the elite and the powerful, because they're always chasing money and power, they end up destroying a lot. It comes back to bite them, which a lot of new money people don't understand. You become wealthy and then you don't know why there's potholes. You don't know why there's beggars. You don't know why you got hijacked. Part of it is you, because you hoarded so much and you didn't give back, or you didn't empower and educate and tell people, look, stop living in squatter camps, go to Emakaya, there's land, and grow food. But who's going to say that if not us? So I realized that I want to speak, and for the first time this year, I know I posted this on Twitter and you commented, and I guess this is the power of finding your tribe. In the movie Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps, I don't know if it's Michael Douglas, talks about a fisherman always sees another fisherman from afar. You can see your tribe. I see it every time I meet with a big Jewish businessman, when I meet with a big Indian businessman, when I meet with big politicians. There's a way that I speak and you see the glint in their eye, because they're like, oh shit, this was me when I was a kid meeting Oskido. This was me as a kid meeting whoever. And I was speaking like, it's like, I'm so excited. I think I'm going to be the craziest Watu. And it's like, shit, this kid reminds me of me. And they say it. I met the Nando's founders, Robert Brosen and Fernando Duarte. I met Carlo Gonzaga, who owns Taste Holdings. They brought in Starbucks. He started Scooter's Pizza and then went on to Domino's. They have NWJ Jewelers. A lot of these guys in their mid-20s had the same fire. They were burning. They were like, I want to do something special. And they met me, a young black boy. And we speak very much about race and racial, but they were like, you're just like us. And we will support you in any way we can. And I think I'm blessed in that what differentiates me, you, other people from others is from a young age, for some weird reason. We'll call it genetics, we'll call it a gift, we'll call it talent, we'll call it a madlozi, we'll call it something from God or whatever you believe in. We have a curious nature. And because you're curious, you constantly want to know more. And for some people, they know more. They get PhDs and they become professors. For others, they're like, I'm a well of knowledge. What do I do with it? How do I create platforms so that other people can thrive? Because every single great human being in the world is no different to you at all. All they did is they made a decision. They said, I'm going to do it. And they started. And they failed and they got fired and they everything. And they got kicked in the mouth and they were dragged in the media and they were a scam artist and you're exploiting people. And they're like, I've got this disease and I'm curious and I want to change the world. And when I look at all my heroes, when I look at Jesus Christ is probably the most famous documented rebel and revolutionary. He said, I don't care what you guys are saying in the temples. I don't care what the guys are saying out there. I'm going to go and spread love and peace and I'm going to do cool stuff. And he got killed for doing cool stuff and he's inspired everyone else. And we saw Tupac get killed, Malcolm X get killed, Steve Biko, Solomon Mahlangu, Marcus Garvey. And we're like, okay, so this is the disease. It's a bad disease. Because on the other side, it's like, no, just sell out. Just make money, keep the knowledge to yourself and be rich alone. Why not do it? Because we meet rich people every day that don't share anything. Robert Kiyosaki could have done just that. He could have created like Dan Pena, these very exclusive clubs where you pay $100,000 and you come and get this unique knowledge. But he said, no, I want the world to see the other side. Because it's something that I've seen out there and I think the world could be better if some child in the middle of India that has nothing connects to free Wi-Fi that government has provided, watches a little clip and is like, oh, DJ SBU in South Africa, oh. And then he keeps watching. And in 10 years' time, he becomes the richest guy in India and he builds an amazing company that revolutionizes the world. All because you decided, I want to share with the world, I want to connect. So I think where I am right now is I want to speak to the world. I want to educate and uplift. I want to find my tribe, people that are like me, so we can do like really cool stuff. It's nice to have money. Money allows you to like fly first class and whatever. It allows you to give back. But it's also nice to get out and unlock minds. My mother named me Penuel. I don't know where she got the name. She says it was in the Bible Encyclopedia. It's actually Hebrew for the face of God. Genesis, where I don't know if it was Jacob or someone wrestled an angel. She also named me Lungelo, which means right, our right to live, our right to expression, etc. My surname is Mlotshwa, Uzita, Undima, Untanz, Sholob, from Mpopomeni. That's my father's side. My mother was half Indian. Her father was Amin. Her mother was Umyaga from Ewashbang. As I grew older, I realized the power of words, the power of names, the power of identity. I have 6 children now. Nkunzmalanga, Afrika, Zulu, Nkanyezi, Shaka, name and identity and you know. And I said, at which point do I name myself? My mother calls me Penuel or Lungel. What do I call me? And I said, I want to be the source of as much knowledge and wealth as possible. Today we have Google, which has become like Big Brother in The Great Gatsby or in the book 1984. I want to be Google. But I don't want to be called Google. I want to be called God.
It's so crazy because I am a God. You are a God. And when we were growing up, we were told, you know, I discovered that basically the spirit that lives in me, you know, and I just had this idea.
Yes. Yes,
you know, and that's basically intentional. I mean,
that's conditioning.
That's what was done to all of us.
Yeah.
With everything that you're saying now, and everything I've been preaching over the past couple of years, I also like saying the same thing. My mom named me Usbusiso.
Yes.
You know, I'm a gift to the world. I'm a blessing to the world, and I am blessed to become a blessing. So I never only said I'm blessed.
Sure.
I always said I'm blessed to become a blessing. And that's what comes out of my mouth all of the time.
Yeah.
And even Nomaban Bangbolis, how are you doing?
Sure.
I think maybe from 10 years ago, from just me saying I'm fine, from 10 years ago, it started changing to I'm blessed.
Sure.
You know, and I like that because I started understanding the power of words.
Yeah.
Words create. Words manifest your future. And I love the conversation we're having because there's something called Penuelism. What is Penuelism?
I got goosebumps. The most important video I have probably ever watched on YouTube and that I discovered last year is a TED talk by a guy called Yuval Noah Harari. He's an Israeli guy who wrote a book called Sapiens, which documents the history of humankind. Understand that history, textbooks, science, the media, all of it is someone's story. It may not be true. So Sapiens is his story. Yuval Noah Harari speaks about why human beings run the world and the fact that our difference lies in that animals live in an objective reality. They see leaves and trees and water and mountains like us. We see all of that. But human beings also have a fictional reality that we have manufactured through language and through imagination. Gods, money, laws, human rights. Animals don't have those things. Those things are not real. You can't touch laws. We created them using language. So at some point, outside of that, I was like, what is God? What is the source of power? Is it just violence? Because you know when people can no longer argue with you, they kill you. I realized at some point for a long time it was religion. Religion was the source of, you can never go beyond that. Then money came in. And with money, people were willing to sin, break religious prescriptions. So I thought money is God. Money will make a person move from Newcastle to Johannesburg. It'll make a mother go and become a nurse in the UK or in the Middle East. It'll make someone become a sex worker. It'll make you leave Pakistan to come and work like a slave inside a hot container 16 hours a day to make a little bit of money. Money is God. But I wasn't satisfied because I was like, I want to be something beyond that. One of the reasons I want to be God is because I want to have the power to influence minds. It's in line with attention capital, owning platforms and unlocking whatever. Do I want to be a multi-billionaire and become Patrice, Christo Visa, Johan Rupert, the Oppenheimers, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, the Ambani family? Do I want to be Jack Ma and then go around buying politicians, setting up media houses and pushing my propaganda? It's a lot of work. Can be done. Or is there something beyond? some of the beyond is religion. Pushiri, Likhanyane, Isaiah Shembe, the gurus in India, Buddha, Jesus Christ, Muhammad. They've already told their story. I want to have my story. How do I tell it? Do I become a prophet of a power that's either out there or in here, of which I believe God is in you, and I believe your ancestors are in you as well? Don't let anyone tell you your ancestors are saying. You need to keep quiet and meditate or pray and listen to self, because the SIM card was given to you at birth with everything. If your ancestors are saying, speak louder, swear, do it, be brave, it's here. No one outside must tell you. And I said, no, I want to be the source. I want to be God. I want to be the guy who writes the book and tells the story. And I realized in doing that God is actually language. The difference between us and animals is not that we think. Animals think. That's why an animal can climb a mountain or feast on something or stealth, and they can think. A dog can see when you're carrying a stick that you're coming to hit it, and it starts whimpering, and it starts running away. It's language. And to what you were saying, language creates in the mind something that didn't exist before. As soon as I swear, I get censored on social media. As soon as I say certain words, if I talk about a disease that, we're not really sure, that's fine. Once I mention a certain word, it flags. Once I mention someone's name in a certain country, and he happens to be a leader, I get jailed or killed. The power of words, the power of language. And if we knew how to actually master language, create new words, we'd speak about Tsotsital, Kulmiskasi, Fede, Kau, Exeo, Krend. Shakespeare did that. He created a lot of words for the English language. The people in power use language to manufacture everything else. Language allows you to read a recipe and bake the same cake a lady in Spain is baking. It allows Elon Musk to go and copy the blueprints of how to create an electric car. Language. Language is actually God, and the day we master language and we make it work for us, the same way black people hate Afrikaans now, is the day you actually unlock true power. Language. Is this halal? Is this kosher? That's language. You don't know and you don't really care, but someone said that. And they transferred it into a sticker or a symbol, the swastika of Hitler. You see it somewhere, now it's bad. But it comes from language and story. Story. Narrative. Who's telling your story and what's your story? You spoke about a white God and a white Jesus, Zeus, a white Father Christmas. Father Christmas used to be green. Coca-Cola turned him to red to be in line with their brand as a beverage. Today we know Santa as being red. At which point do black people stop alienating Leonardo da Vinci and say, Da Vinci is my ancestor as well. I'm an artist. I'm a product of him. Why is he for white people? Elon Musk is South African. He's white. He is also my ancestor. He comes from where I come from. When will I say my ancestors are all the great people that I aspire to, not just dark-skinned people?
Yo, now you're giving me goosebumps. I'll tell you guys of this little, let me not say little girl, this young sister. I want you guys to go follow her right now on TikTok and share videos that speak to you, that you feel like sharing quickly, based on what you're saying. Before I forget, let me just get it out of the way now and do it now. Her name is, I'll give you guys the name quickly. Go follow a lady by the name of Daniela Nkanyezi Kutz. Daniela Nkanyezi Kutz. Kutz as in Koetzz. If you're not in South Africa, that's Koetzz. Daniela with an A at the end, Nkanyezi, and then Kutz. And then I think her @ is a quick one. Let me see her @ Her @ is indigo_Kutz, as in Koetzz. So her @ has got 3 Z's. It's exactly what you're saying.
Nkanyezi is my daughter's name.
Oh, is it? Okay, she's a star.
Sure.
A quick one, guys. Go support these guys. Now that I'm plugging Nkanyezi, let me plug Impahla. The same way I was plugging Ipatsu. Nangakaifateli koptu. Ama celebrity asayithomela ukuyigqoka. Ningayifateli koptu ngithi kuzoba all star yethu le ngenkani. Angilandi uTheo wathi Prasbuda ngicela ugqoke le teki. Prasbuda ngicela ungincede uphusha lento. Theo, I'm proud of you, boy. Congratulations. We're building other Theos khona manje. Mpahla. Shout out to Vaya. Shout out to Indwangu. Shout out to all of you guys that are doing your thing. Let's continue.
Shout out to More Fire.
Thank you.
Shout out to More Fire.
The only cold drink emhlabeni now ivula ikhumbuza okhokho bakho bathi uNkulunkulu usomandla usonini nanini. And such a beautiful thing I learned from Daniela, why I was referencing her now, is she put a post on TikTok yesterday. She says, Senze Nina, Senze Nina. And then she looks at the camera. And then she continues to say, Senze Nina, Senze Nina. And then she stares at the camera. She looks at us. And then she writes there on the caption. She translates it in English. Senze Nina. As in, what have we done to deserve all of this nonsense that's happening to us? And then she flips it and puts it in the brackets. We made you. Senze Nina.
Yes,
She
sis.
says our ancestors spoke in codes.
Senzeni.
Hayi senze nina.
Senze nina.
Sinenzile ningane zethu nina.
Jeez, that's hectic. The power of language.
Chopra.
I was listening to an amazing guy that I know you've interviewed, Umbuso Khoza.
Yeah.
Amazing storyteller,
Powerhouse.
amazing singer.
Powerhouse.
He was speaking about Isangoma, Ngoma, Ubungoma, Isangoma, Ngoma, song. The fact that we don't understand, that's a dank education, epistemology, I think, the origin of words. We speak very much at the Latin root. It comes from Greek. A lot of our words and language we don't understand. And that's why I was speaking about mastering language. Once you master language, you understand things like surnames. I'm going to make another video at some point on explaining the way surnames are structured around the world. Because surnames are just identifiers and we've kind of lost it. And in a similar fashion, Senzenina, Senzenina. A lot of people don't understand that you're holding on so much to a surname, but that was not necessarily the intention of what it was meant to do. And you're meant to evolve. Anyways, that's fine. So, yeah. Mofaya Mpahla, I wanted to speak about the fact that the more we start wearing our own names and not the names of Europeans and Americans we don't know. We don't know who Louis Vuitton and Gucci and Dolce and Gabbana, and we don't know those people. Prada, they're great. They've done really well. We're proud of them. They inspire us. But the sooner kids can start wearing Lokshan culture, Dankisan, Mpahla, Batu, Drip, that's where you build confidence in yourself as a people. And you can proudly walk the world and be proud. And we've seen it in guys like Black Coffee. And they're proud. Oh, Yumasagela, Tandiswa Mazwai, oh, Miriam Makeba. We're trying to tell us this thing. When I thought I was going to be a visual artist, Helen Sibidi, she's a visual artist. She does amazing artwork.
You are a visual artist.
I hope so.
You are.
She was saying, and this is very important, Mfana wenza nini art yakho? Ngithi hayi mama, you know, imele sikhande imali what if you don't make the art, who will? If you don't tell the stories, who will? If you don't make the movies and the series, if you don't lead, a lot of young people are scared of going into the taxi industry. If you are not the one that's going to fix the roads and be in parliament, who will? The brave, dumb guys are going to do it because they're brave and they're dumb. You're intelligent, but you're a coward. At some point, you have to rise. At some point, you have to rise. I'll stop there.
You shouldn't
Sorry for
stop.
now. I wanted to mention one more thing. Sorry, Spoon.
Go right ahead. Don't stop. Yeah, this is your episode.
I've seen this before in some of the Hustlers Corners episodes you've done. Your ability to listen. Highly, highly underrated skill. Obviously, it's a platform here now for us to speak. And it's boldly. It's keep everything that we have inside. But the ability to listen and watch and study. Some of us sit in our rooms on our own, watching YouTube, reading articles late at night. I once explained to a mate of mine who's a mining engineer, he didn't understand why him. His brothers are not doing well. He came from a rural area in the Eastern Cape. And he was like, why am I so successful? Why me? And I'm like, some of us have got something that keeps us up at night. No one is paying us to read the articles, to study the grades. But we listen and we watch. I think that's why people say you must meditate. Just keep quiet and listen. So I want to commend you on the power to listen. especially because you've got this platform. We've seen a lot of people that have platforms that have to interview people. They end up dominating. All they do is talk the whole time, which sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I commend you for your ability to listen, and it inspires me, especially when I'm around knowledgeable people, to sometimes take a step back and listen as well. So I just wanted to speak to that.
Yeah, but and it goes back to what we've always been told when we were still young, and we just never understood what it really meant. Kunesizathu ingani unendlebe ezimbili, amehla amabili nomlomo wodwa. You must bathini observe and listen twice as much as you can speak.
100%. And that's what it is. You asked me a question about Penuelism. Penuelism is a lot of things. For normal people out there, the easiest way to explain it is that it is a religion, it is a movement. Ubabu Isaiah Shembe with Isonto Lama Nazareta decided to fuse Christianity and African spirituality, because at the time a lot of African people didn't really want to buy into this religion thing. So he found a merger and he created the Shembe Church, which has become very powerful today. A person like Jesus Christ, he didn't build a church, but in his honor, people created a religion called Christianity, named after him. Buddha came from a Wolof family, went into the wilderness to go and discover the world, and realized nothing is actually important. And he wrote a book, and Buddhism was born. I think I have something to give to the world. I could go and reference and quote everyone else, but I decided that I want to be the source of that. I want to be God. And I decided to create my own belief system. I've got my own, what we call a Bible. It's Penuelism principles, which documents all the things I believe in. Questioning what's out there, living healthily, recycling things, parenting intentionally, being responsible with sex, understanding that there's a place and time for violence because of the world we live in. And it's my way to kind of give back to the world. Yes, it's a cult, because the true definition of a cult is what Jesus and them were doing. It's a belief system centered around a person. When they say you're a cult figure, you can't question this guy as a cult figure. Think what Jacob Zuma have been accused of that. The Kim family in North Korea have been accused of that. It's a cult in that sense. But if you've ever watched...
I belong to a cult called the Slimes.
Come on.
Yeah, and it was to Aries. I'm kidding. That's just me being a music fan.
Shout out to Aries.
I'm part of your cult, Aries.
Sure. There's a great documentary on Netflix, and it says cult plus time equals religion. I don't really want a religion. I just want a movement where people that feel like church is not really working for them, that African beliefs and customs and spirituality is not working for them, people that don't really believe in politics, people that are looking for an alternative home. I want them to plug out of that and plug into what we're doing. And we're looking to mimic what the South African Muslims have done, the South African Jews have done, what the Afrikaner Broederbond have done, and build our own tribe of people that are winning, that are healthy, that are building their own brands and wearing their own stuff, that are growing their own food, that live intentionally, that raise their children to become champions and warriors. And I'm trying to be the leader for that. I could have gone into politics. I could have been a multimillionaire. I could have whatever, but this is what I'm choosing to do for now. We'll see where it goes, where it grows, and what it becomes. But Penuelism is my belief system. If I'm the only follower, that's fine. Luckily, I've got a whole hundreds of people that follow me for now. What's up? This is Penuel, the Black Pen. I'm a thinker, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm an author. And damn, I've just been hustled by DJ SBU and the Hustlers Corner.